I'd like to introduce our speaker for this morning, Eliseo Mauricio. He is a longtime Pathfinder, as you can see by his achievements on his sack. He is our area coordinator for the Pathfinder ministry, and he is from the Amarillo Church. Let's give our time and attention. Thank you.
Happy Sabbath. I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy to be given this chance to give you the message this morning. May I take the mic out? Okay. I really enjoyed Sabbath school this morning. It was Dr. Simmons, I believe, that gave the Sabbath school. I really like his style. He keeps it real. He was sharing his struggles of being a Cowboys fan, and we know they struggle. So it was very enjoyable. This morning, I'm going to share a message with you that's about being a servant. And to help you understand what this means, I'm going to share an experience that I've had this year. So this year started, my wife has a Facebook page, and she found out that there was a group that does mountain biking. Okay, I like to mountain bike a lot. I live very close to Paladuro Canyon. It's like 28 minutes away, so I go there as often as I can. And I've mountain biked since I was a teenager. And my wife told me, apparently there's a group that has races down there. And I got excited. I said, finally I get to use my mountain bike for other than just riding by myself. And I went to the website, and there were 4 categories. Okay, there was expert. I'm nowhere near expert. There was sport. There were beginners, and I said, no, I'm not a beginner. I'm better than that. And then there was Clydesdales. Now, if you don't know what a Clydesdale is, it's a really big horse, right? Clydesdale's category is for really big guys. Okay, you have to weigh at least 235 pounds. I weigh 260, so it's the fatty category. All right. There's not a single skinny guy there that rides in Clydesdale. So I signed up for the race, and I trained a little. I didn't train like mega mountain bikers train, but I did train. I rode my bike a few miles, and I made sure I had a helmet. So race day comes, and I said, how hard could this possibly be? The sign-up thing said it was 16 miles. When we get there, the organizer says it turns out it's 18 miles. And of course, I told him, well, I only paid for 16, so I don't really want to do the 18, but I had to do the 18. So the race begins. The first few miles, easy. The first climb, I'm telling, I'm trying to be polite, but, people are kind of getting in my way, okay? And when it's time to the descent, some people are scared. So once again, people are kind of getting in my way. And long story short, I got first place. What do you think of that?
Wow.
Well, the thing I didn't tell you was that I was the only rider in my category. So all I had to do was just finish. But I got first place, and it didn't really feel like a first place because I knew I was the only one. I try to keep that information away from people as much as possible. That way they're a little bit more impressed. But I don't want you to be impressed with me this morning. What I want to emphasize is the fact that deep down, I want to be first. Okay? Even if I was the only rider in my category, I still wanted to be first. And since I'm Christian, I had to be polite about, telling people, excuse me, I'm trying to get through. Eventually, they all started passing me. Because I was in terrible, terrible riding shape. My shape has improved a little bit since, but I'm still in the same category, so it hasn't improved that much. There's this desire in every single one of us, adults, children. I have a 5-year-old that we've been struggling with this. There's this desire to be on top of everything, to be first. And that's why sometimes sports can be a little iffy for us, because we forget about who we believe in, because this desire of wanting to be above everyone else takes over what we know we're supposed to be, because we are made of flesh, and we need transformation. So what are we supposed to do? Well, I want to tell you another story. If you turn to your Bibles in the book of Matthew chapter 10. This morning, when I went to get my English Bible, I go to a Spanish church in Amarillo. I went to grab my English Bible. I don't usually use it. I use my Spanish Bible. So I grabbed my Bible, I got here, and it turned out it was also in Spanish. But it's a good thing you guys have Bibles here, and I was able to grab one of your Bibles here, so thank you very much. I got nervous for a second there. I said, oh no, wrong Bible yet again. But in Matthew, what chapter did I just tell you? I'm sorry, I meant to say 20. And while you're going there, I'll give you a brief recap of what's going on here. So Jesus is in Jerusalem, okay? Chapter 20, verse about 17. Jesus is in Jerusalem, okay? And Jesus has his disciples with him. And 2 of his disciples have their mom with them, okay? So who knows why their mom is there with them. The sons of Zebedee, who are James and John, they have their mom with them. And the mom tells Jesus and her sons, she tells her sons, come with me, boys. And she tells Jesus, come with me, Jesus. I have something very important to tell you, Jesus. So John and James' mom is going to try to use her mom powers to get her sons a high position in Jesus' kingdom. And she tells Jesus, Jesus, here's what I need from you. She doesn't even, I don't think she even asked politely. She was kind of ordering Jesus, Jesus, here's what I need from you. I need you to give my sons the first places in your kingdom. I need one to sit at your right hand and the other one to sit at your left hand. They do not need to serve anyone. They need to be the ones serving. So they're kind of like me. I wanted to be first place, and I got my first place, but it was a very sad first place. But these gentlemen want first place. And Jesus tells them, I don't think you know what you're asking for. you don't know the suffering you're going to have to go through, and actually, you're going to go through a lot of suffering, but I'm pretty sure you don't know what you're asking for by being my right hand and left hand. And if you go to verse 26, and by the way, the disciples found out that James and John were trying to be first and second in Jesus' kingdom, and they were all angry. This is kind of how they lived with Jesus. They were always upset at each other, not with Jesus. So verse 26, Matthew 20:26 says, "Yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant." So one of the things Jesus did when he came here, he completely flipped everything around to how people perceive reality. And even to this day, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be, have a high position, Jesus is telling you, be a servant then. Which is completely contrary to what you're asked to do in our culture nowadays. You're not told, serve others, be the gopher, go for this, go for that. You're asked to take control. But Jesus is saying you need to be a servant. So now here's the dilemma that we have now today. We know that Jesus is telling us that if you want to be a leader in your community, if you want to be a number one wherever you are, you need to be a servant. So here's the question then. How am I supposed to be a servant if I've always been served? I don't know how to be a servant. So I invite you to, once again, in your Bibles, we all go to Matthew 25. Verse 34. 25:34. It says, "Then the king will say to those on his right hand, 'Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.'" Now I want you to notice here, where are these people located?
On his right hand.
On his right hand. Okay? What position did John and James want? The right hand, and well, obviously one of them was going to have to get the left hand, right? But one of them wanted to be at the right hand. So right here, Jesus is speaking to the people that are on his right hand. Now, if we recall in Matthew 20, what did he say you had to do in order to be a high position in his kingdom? You had to serve others. So now let's see what's going on here. And I'm on 35 now. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. 36. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Now, so let's get that link well established. You want to be on God's right hand, you need to be a servant. You want to be a servant, and this is the beautiful thing about Jesus, and just God in general. He tells us exactly what he's expecting from us. You don't know how to do something? Don't worry. I'll tell you how to do something. And right here he is giving us a format for what a servant does. You feed the hungry. You clothe the naked. You visit those that are lonely. If somebody's thirsty, you give them something to drink. Now you may think, okay, so let's go out into our community and make sure we do all of these things that Jesus is saying right here, because I want to be on his right hand. You may say that, but the reality is that all of these people that were listed here that were helped are actually within our church doors. All of these people that are listed here that need help are actually within the four walls of my house. So all of these things, if I want to do them, I don't have to go very far to be a servant. Right here where I'm at, I can be a servant of God. Right here where I'm at, I can learn what it takes to be on God's right hand. Now, Now here's a problem that I've faced. Have you noticed how it's very easy to learn the bad things in this world?
Yes.
And if you have children, or if you were a child once, I guess all of us, have you noticed that your parents would tell you one thing, and then that thing they told you not to do is the same thing they would do? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I know this because I have a daughter, and the exact same things I tell her not to do, I find myself doing. Okay? So it really puts a microscope over what my actions are. At least I see myself doing these things. So here's the catch to be a servant. As you can see, we have a lot of young boys and girls. There's only one way that they're going to learn to be a servant. And that's it. The adults, that means us, the ones that are supposed to be responsible now, that's if we teach them how to be a servant.
Amen.
And when you go to Proverbs 22:6, it's a very known verse. Teach the children the way that he should go, that when he is old, he will never stray from it. I paraphrase. I combine various versions of the Bible there. It's not enough that we let Pathfinders take care of the servant part for our kids. It's not enough that we let our schools teach our kids how to be servants. We parents, we church leaders have to teach our children how to be servants. And the thing is that they have to see that we're happy to do it. If you're serving and you're not doing it with a smile, they're going to make a correlation right there. Apparently being a servant isn't very fun. And here's the reality, it's not. And why is it not that fun? Because my heart wants to be served. So what I really need to do is ask God to transform my heart, to teach me to be a servant. And one day when I find myself doing these things, I'm going to be able to tell Jesus, it turns out you did turn me into a servant. And I'm doing it with a smile. And our children here will see that smile that we have when we're serving others. And then they too will want to serve others as well. So it's not enough for us to tell them you need to be a servant. We have to show them how to be a servant. Last verse that we're going to read, 1 Peter, if you can join me, 1 Peter 4. It was our scripture this morning. 1 Peter 4:10. And depending on the version you have of your Bible, I think New International Version uses the exact word that we're using this morning. So I'm going to read it with that word. 1 Peter 4:10. It says, "And as each one has received a gift, serve it to one another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of God." So God is telling us, I've given you gifts, so now serve one another. And we know if you become a servant, you're guaranteed a spot on Jesus' right hand. So if that's where you want to be, we have to learn to serve. May the Lord bless you.
Amen.
Amen.
Lord, we sing our closing song. Let's like to take this moment to highlight the work of our Pathfinders. So I'd like to introduce to our church Pathfinder members.